Hello, third grade students and parents. This is Miss Martin, and I'm going to help explain the directions for day 10 of the packet. So the first part of the packet talks about reading, and it asks us to read a passage about should students pay to play school sports. And you're supposed to answer questions, but unfortunately, the packet doesn't have that reading in it, so you won't be able to find that reading. So instead, I would like you to read either by yourself or to a parent for 10 to 15 minutes. And then you can move on to writing. So the writing prompt does go along with the reading prompts, but I think you can still answer the writing prompt even if you didn't read the passage. So the writing prompt asks us to explain your opinion on whether students should have to pay to play sports in school. So the writing prompt wants to know whether you think you should have to pay to play a sport in school or whether it should be free. A lot of times, if you play a sport on a recreational league, so if you would play a sport through the YMCA or something like that, you might have to pay to play the sport. But if you play one in school, you usually don't have to pay. So it's asking if you think students should have to pay or not to play one in school. After finishing the writing, you can move on to math. For math, you need to choose any one of the math games and you should play with at least one partner. You should write the name of the game that you chose in the blank. Then, there's a math problem that you can solve. And I helped write out the math problem for you just so you could see it. But it says that you should estimate the answer to 7,189 minus 3,592. You should explain your thinking with pictures, numbers, and words. When it says to estimate, that means that you should guess. You should give your best guess on what the answer could be. And then you should actually calculate the actual answer. You should find the difference between your estimated answer and your actual answer. So the first step that you need to do is you need to estimate. And then you need to write out the actual subtraction problem. So you need to subtract those numbers. And then you should still find the difference between what you estimated and what the actual answer is. So you might have to do a second subtraction problem to find the difference. After you've finished your problem, you should visit Dreambox and play for at least 20 minutes. You should give the name of the games that you played on the blank. After finishing math, you can move on to science. The science prompt for today doesn't give us that much information. It just says, complete your new animal habitat. So I printed out some different options for habitats. We have a desert habitat, a farm habitat, an ocean habitat, a forest habitat, a polar habitat. So those are just some examples. For example, you could pick the polar habitat, and you could pick an animal like a penguin or a polar bear, or you could pick the desert habitat and you could pick an animal like a camel. So what I want you to do is I want you to draw another habitat. So if you draw a desert habitat, you should draw a habitat with the animal that you chose. So you should have a camel, and it should have some cactus and different plants that might grow in the desert. Some sand, so you should color it in and make sure that you draw a really nice picture of the habitat and animal. So thank you for all your hard work. I hope you have a great rest of your day.